In this video, I'm going to give my final review of the Framework 13 laptop. So, at this point, I have had the laptop for 2 months. So, I have a lot of experience with how it works and doesn't work. So, okay, first things first. So, I received my laptop in around August 1st, and what I purchased was the AMD Ryzen AI 300 series Ryzen AI 9 HX 370 for my mainboard. They don't call them motherboards for Framework, they call them mainboards for whatever reason. Anyhow, and that's what I ordered it with, which was not great. When I got the system, I somehow managed to install Kubuntu on it, but the computer would freeze after like 5 minutes, which would mean I couldn't do anything useful on it. The one thing I noticed though was I was able to play movies on it, weirdly enough, and YouTube in full screen. But if the video player wasn't in full screen, the computer would freeze. And so I realized that this AI 9 motherboard or mainboard is not compatible with a lot of operating systems, as it turns out. It's compatible with NixOS and Fedora and Bazelite or whatever, but it's really limited compatibility. So, problem with Framework is watch out, make sure your operating system is compatible with the hardware you're getting. That's a huge issue. So, as you can see here currently, I have the AMD Ryzen AI 5 mainboard. Because the AI 9 was working so poorly for me, I had to purchase the AI 5. And currently I have an AI 9 mainboard just sitting around my apartment. Because what I've heard is that maybe in October or November or something, Kubuntu will release their 25 version with compatibility with this new mainboard, and when that comes out, then the AI 9 mainboard will be much better than the AI 5 mainboard. But basically, the problem is because Framework, because they're a small company, they're using AMD GPUs, and the AMD CPUs are pretty good, but basically the problem is because they're using kind of specialty parts, there's a lot of problems when it comes to compatibility with operating systems. So yeah, it's a serious problem. So just in theory, the Framework 13, if you just look at the specs, it looks like, oh great, here I am getting a really high performance laptop with all this great hardware, but then you might not get what you're looking for. Because if you want to do AI, you want to train some small AI models with the GPU on a Framework laptop, if you go with an Intel GPU, I have no comment because, well, I simply have never tried that version. If you go with the AMD GPU, expect to be able to use the GPU for video play, for video games, but don't expect to be able to use the AMD GPU for AI, inference, or training. It's very finicky. I was able to get the AMD GPU to cooperate for one small Llama model, but yeah, don't rely on it. Certainly don't expect it. It's hit or miss. You might get it, you might not. So yeah, on the bright side, the Framework CPUs are great, but absolutely, before you purchase your Framework 13, Framework has a page for operating system compatibility. So I'm just demonstrating here how the GPU works great. The the video play, it's as smooth as I would hope. Just going around the Witness as I do. I like the game a lot. Anyhow, but I'm not trying to play the game. I'm just showing how the graphics work pretty well. So I can just kind of zip around and it works. So that's great. And yeah. So if I pull up the system monitor, as you can see what's being used. So if I go back to the Witness, oops, wrong window. Sometimes. Okay. So going back to the Witness. So just to show you how that affects the CPU and whatever. So yeah, I use system monitor to track exactly whether or not the GPU is being used, because if it's not being used, things are going to be just way slower. So anyhow, we'll see if the Witness loads any faster the second time around. It takes a long time to load. Anyhow, that's Steam. So, but yeah, once it's loaded, it works pretty well. I'm not a big fan of like high-speed action games. That's just not something I do, but presumably it would work just fine. So yeah, the GPU is good enough for gaming if that's what you're into, great. But for work-related things like AI type stuff, yeah, its framework. Okay, what is it good for? What is it not good for? What I would say is the CPU is great. It's like, okay, it's nice that you can order the laptop without an operating system, so you're not paying for Windows if you don't want to use Windows. And it's great that, like, where should I go? It's great that they will ship with whatever kind of SD and RAM and all that. That part's great, but I will say that the motherboard choices you get are really not great. Really not great. Because you can't get any NVIDIA GPU with Framework, which really sucks, I gotta say. Which means you can't do any like serious AI work on the laptop. I mean, AI training. You can, of course, write AI scripts, but you just can't run them very fast. I mean, I've trained AI on my Framework 13. It does work for that. And I will say, to Framework's benefit, that the cooling works pretty well. So you're not gonna, like, I used an Acer laptop, an Acer Nitro 5, in the past, earlier this year, and I literally cracked the motherboard due to overheating when I was doing some heavy data processing. And so, yeah, I will say that I'm just noticing things. Anyhow, so sorry, I'm freezing. So anyhow, for serious work, like, yeah, you can use it for the CPU, but just don't expect the GPU to help you much. It's kind of sad, but that's just kind of the way it is. In my experience, like, I seriously tried hard to get this computer to work. I tried for a whole like 2 days of like trying different things to get the GPUs to work for inference or training, and yeah, the problem is it's not as if AMD is just always sucks. It's just the problem is I don't know what that's doing. A little confused about that. Anyhow, the game. But okay, enough of the Witness. So as you can see here from System Monitor, the GPU was used by the Witness, which is great. The CPU was used much less. But yeah, if you're doing something like Llama, so I have Llama locally, and so I'll just do a little Llama prompt. So gonna do Llama run Llama for me, please. Okay, then I'll ask it some silly questions. Like, I'll just say explain general relativity. Okay, just a question that's going to require some amount of reasoning, or reasoning, thinking, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. We'll just do that and see what it does. So, as you can see here, it spikes to like a pretty decent percentage of CPU usage. As you can see, I have 16 cores of the CPU. Now this is great. I got to admit that Llama's still working, as you can see in the background. It uses a big chunk of CPU, but as you can see, the GPU is only 25%, which is what you typically have when you're doing basically anything on this laptop. So yeah, that part's not great. But it does get the job done, and I will say the CPU is pretty powerful. So as long as your operating system is compatible with the main board, the CPU will do wonderfully. So yeah, I do have to give Framework credit. The CPU is awesome. Really, it's awesome. It's just, yeah, the GPU sucks because, yeah, what I've heard is that it's because the GPU is special to Framework 13 or something. So because there's not a big market for the GPU that the GPUs the framework uses, there's not a lot of compatibility with things like the software you need to train AI and things like that. So yeah, mixing. So I will say that it does still freeze sometimes. Oh, as you can see, the prompt just finished, and so the CPU usage went right back down to like, I don't know, 200% or something. Percent is a factor of the CPU, so 200% means you effectively two cores are used to the 100%, or on average. Anyhow, it's split amongst the many cores, and so it is great if you're doing multiprocessing to have all of those cores. And for Llama, it certainly helps. So it's not terrible, but I mean, it would be much faster if you had a GPU, which actually helped you out. Because when I managed to get a GPU to work for a little while for Llama, it was way faster. Which, you know, it's just something you just don't experience most of the time on Framework 13, which is unfortunate. Again, with the AMD for the GPU. So every so often, like maybe every week, my computer will freeze, and it doesn't seem to be tied with anything being maxed out. It doesn't seem to correlate with the CPU being used to the max or anything like that. It just kind of freezes, but that's pretty rare, like once a week, so it's not terrible. But it does happen, and I assume it has to do with some level of small incompatibility with the operating system of Kubuntu and the main board. So I'm just gonna pull up Framework OS compatibility to show you what you need to watch out for when you're buying, so Linux in particular. So if you use Windows, I've heard on Windows everything just works. So yeah, if you like Windows, then great. I personally do not like Windows, and I just do versions of Ubuntu. I tried NixOS. It's kind of nice, but doesn't scale very well in my experience. Anyhow, so if you go through here, you can see, so this will give you, this is the main board, and then it shows you what it's compatible with. So it's compatible with Fedora, Ubuntu, and Bazzite. And if it's compatible with Ubuntu, it's compatible with Kubuntu, generally. Let me see here, going through here. So yeah, it doesn't ever list Kubuntu explicitly, but if it's compatible with Ubuntu, it's compatible with Kubuntu. The two are not entirely the same, but they're close enough. So yeah, so here you can see, great, it works with Ubuntu 25. Wonderful. That's for the Intel Core. And then community support is also, I would say, it's very good. If it lists here for community support, it does work. In fact, as I tried NixOS, and it's always on the community supported section, and it works. So yeah, that's great. So this, as you can see, is the Ryzen AI, probably the AI 9, and as you can see, Ubuntu is not listed, and take that very seriously. It means it really doesn't work well. NixOS works, yeah, and then yeah, AI 300 series not great. And then going through here. So let's see, going back. Sorry, trying to get this work. Okay, so maybe I got a different one. Let me just check the specs from. Okay, so what I have here is, okay, right. I don't have this one. I have a different AMD. It's a Ryzen 7. So I don't have any of these. I made an error earlier on. So I have a 7840U series. And so as you can see here, it says 740 series Ubuntu works as far back as Ubuntu 22. That's what I have currently, and it works. Yeah, so that's mostly great. And the things just work using that. So yeah, that's one thing to watch out for with Framework is they will offer you things which on paper look way more powerful, but in practice fail because of operating system compatibility in Linux. So yeah, just absolutely, before you buy a Framework, make sure it's compatible with the operating system you want to use, because unlike your traditional laptop where you can just install any operating system on it and it works, with Framework, that's a really sensitive issue in terms of, yeah, does the operating system work or not? So those are the limitations of the Framework 13. As I said, it's on the CPU side, it's awesome. GPU, it kind of sucks. Unless you're doing video games, in which case it's great. So yeah, that's it. And so yeah, in the previous videos I showed problems, and I showed changing out the main board, and that did kind of solve the problems, but still the GPU just really, it's hit or miss. It will work, but not on everything. So yeah, would I buy a Framework 13 all over again if I was gonna? That's a hard question. I think they have better thermals for a laptop, which is great. Having all those CPU cores is awesome for many programming tasks. I mean, again, you're not training AI on a laptop is not great, I guess, in general. But yeah, if I just looked at other laptops, like yeah, it's enterprise tops. Yeah, let's just see what they can come up with. So yeah, let's say that looks, yeah. So well, okay. If I did this one, it's an AMD Ryzen. That doesn't look good to me. Though maybe this is a different version though, so maybe this one actually is better. It's 8 gigabytes of RAM. I'm wondering how many cores the CPU has, if it even lists it. So yeah, this is definitely not marketed to the power user, unfortunately. But let's see. CPU is a Ryzen 5, so that's the same as I have. So I don't know. You may have better luck if you just get some other kind of gaming computer or whatever. I know I personally did crack the main board in a Acer 5, which is a gaming PC, for some not AI but similarly compute heavy workloads. And so yeah, an advantage of Framework 13 is you're not throwing away computer parts because they're just too low power. So like, you don't have to just order a computer with some like terabyte of storage when you know you're going to replace it with 8 terabytes or something like that. But yeah, I have mixed feelings about our framework. In principle, it sounds awesome, but in practice, yeah, it's kind of cringe. It's really sad not being able to use the GPU for AI, because I'm really into AI. So, yeah. The thing about it not like the mainboard not cracking under heavy loads is awesome, but it just can't take very heavy loads because the GPU sucks. So, yeah, it's sad. Framework 13 looks great, but I just have to be honest that there's some serious problems in terms of compatibility with software, and just not being able to use the GPU really hurts when you're trying to do AI. It's like we're in the 2020s. Like we should have GPU support. Like that's pretty critical if you're doing like anything cutting edge in software. So yeah, I mean, in my own situation, I'm building a NVIDIA supported supercomputer. So hopefully within sometime in October I'll have that come online, so I can just push my heavy processes onto that and just use my Framework 13 as where I write my software, which will be awesome once that's online. But yeah, really, I guess I wouldn't recommend Framework 13. Unless you're not interested in using GPUs for AI acceleration. So yeah, basically if you can do Framework 13, it's awesome except for GPU and operating system compatibility. So yeah, this is not really for or against Framework 13, it's just things to watch out for. I know there's lots of glowing reviews online, but well, this is my experience. Choose wisely whether or not you want to purchase a Framework 13.